Well, hello YouTubers, and welcome back to the whole special channel and a special edition of Zerks and Wheels. Today we're going to be making a tutorial for a friend of mine who I'm helping out on a project on his carport. He needs to put in a new rafter on the front end of the carport that the old one rotted out, and so we're going to make do with shorter lumber, I made some hardware for it so that he can put in a new one without too much trouble. And so we're going to go ahead and show how to use the parts that I made for this project and some of the tools that go along with it. So with that, let's move the camera around and get to cracking at how to use this. Now I'll say this right off the get-go. I made a center finder here so that we can find center for this template, and then also a little center finder for the holes. So that's going to be the main focus of today's video. So let's get on with it. Well, we're going to stipulate here. This is just a demonstration so that Ryan, you get an idea of what to do with these plates when you get them. So I'll include a little bit of footage on how I made this. Center finder, and we'll need that to ascertain the center line of, we're going to stipulate these are our 2x6s that we're going to be butt jointing together on the center beam of the carport. And so we need to find center so that we can center this up, mark the holes, drill them, and all that good jazz. So anyway, here's the footage on how some of this, how I made some of this. I didn't do any footage on the knobs, just kind of threw it together. One of the properties of this thing is you can use this on any size of lumber up to a 2x12 or 1x12, and it will always find perfect center. Now granted, you can probably try to score center with a pair of calipers or something like that, or a scratch stock, in which case you're going to be measuring and remeasuring and remeasuring and remeasuring. This thing, you just stick it on there, cant it, and pull and go, and you've got dead center every time. So for this next portion of the tutorial here, you'll need 3 clamps all together. So, and a long straight stick, so that you can line these things up on one side nice and perfect, so that way they don't have any whatchamacallit in the in the alignment of it, so they're perfectly aligned. So let's line up our boards here. You'll need 3 clamps to do this with, 1 for each board, and then 1 for the template if you're going to want to keep it in place and keep it from sliding away. So let's push this in a little bit from the edge. We'll stick a clamp on him. Doesn't matter which order of succession that you got going here. Just the main thing is you get one edge that's nice and straight all the way, and just butt your long piece up against the other one. You want at least about 2 to 3 feet, so that way you get a nice alignment of the pieces when they butt joint together here. So then we'll just stick one on over here. So now we're ready for the center finder. As you can see, I don't know if the camera's picking this up. This is the second retake of this portion of it. I had a bad camera angle on the last go around, so I decided to go ahead and reshoot this. And we still got a little bit of a, there, now we got a nice straight edge all the way through. So this, like I said, this is the second take, and so there's already a score line on here, but we're going to go ahead and redo it just for demonstration purposes. So this thing is pretty simple, easy to use. You just stick it on. Now there's two bearings on here. You want these to engage on the edge. And not quite all the way down. You just set it on the workpiece and make sure that you got it twisted. Then give it a little downward pressure, and you can just pull it all the way on through. And it doesn't matter if you turn it this way or this way, you're still going to get perfect center every time. The precision that I had to put into these, the alignment of the holes, is down to the thousandths. I was operating in the hundredths of a millimeter range to get this. So this is a precision instrument. So Ryan, when you get this thing, please take care of it. Don't drop it. I'd hate to remake it. It's, it might look simple and all that, but there was a lot of work that went into it. So anyway, set that aside. So now we got a nice score here. And on our plate, this is a template. This is the front plate that bolts to this setup here. And we've got 8 holes on it. And this is where our little hole punch comes into play. On the edges, there's notches at the middle point of every side of this plate. What you want to do, you want to line up the middle notch on your butt joint here, and then just kind of center it up on the score line like that. And then if you want to keep the guy from wiggling around on you while you're marking it, just slap another clamp onto it, and Bob's your uncle. And then that way it can't get away from it. So here we have, I'll show the still here. Got this little center punch. It's got a shoulder onto it, and it's the same size as the hole in the plate. So all you have to do, it's got a little nail in it, and the nail just pokes out just a smidge to where it doesn't get stuck. So if you give this thing a smack, it won't drive the nail into the board and keep it there. And you don't need a big hammer. This little guy here is plenty good enough, and that's all you need to do. Whoops. And there are going to be a couple of spare nails to go along with this, Ryan, so in case you lose one or you break one or something, you don't have to worry about trying to find a replacement. There's one with it. So the next step is going to be throwing the boards up on the drill press. Here's a brad point bit. The reason we got a brad point bit is because it centers itself nicely on the little divots that you just made, you know, and now you can drill your holes with this. This is an 8.5 millimeter brad point bit, roughly about 5/16. If you break a bolt, you can use a 5/16 bolt. Of course, the correct size is included in the kit, so you'll have that, and so you'll be able to just center this up real easy with the brad point, and then just drill on through. Make sure you have something underneath it so that when you drill through, and set the drill stop, the depth, so that it just goes through the board into the substrate, the board underneath, and doesn't go into the table. Because if you run this into the table, it's ruined, and you're going to have a hell of a time trying to get the remaining holes drilled. So then all you do is, once you've got the holes drilled, this is the plate that's on the inside, and this portion of it here gets mounted onto the barge rafter that runs the length of the carport. It basically is on the back side of the thing, and then you just run 4 the lag bolts in here, and then all this does is hold it onto the 4x6. That's all all it does. These aren't structural parts. I didn't make them structural because you don't really need them, but they are stainless steel, so they don't rust. But I sandblasted them and gave them a frosted look, so they look pretty close to the other hardware that's already in your carport. It's zinc galvanized, if I'm not mistaken, and so I tried to make it look as close as I could by sandblasting it and frosting it, and then that way, you know, it doesn't really fall in, you know, it doesn't catch your eye that much, you know, except for the fact it won't rust. And the same thing on the hardware, it's all stainless steel. So anyway, that's all there is to putting this together. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to catch the corner on your rafter. The one thing you want to do before you cut your 2x6s to length is make sure you line this up dead center on your 4x6, because, you know, this is basically made to land dead center. Well, YouTubers, that's a wrap for this little special edition of Zerks and Wheels. Ryan, if you have any questions, by all means, shoot me emails, whatever, or you can put it in the comments section as well. I know I'm probably missing something, and there's going to be some aspect of this project that you're going to want to know a little bit more details about it. I think I pretty much got the bulk of it that you need to know to tear loose on this, to pick up and go to town on this. It's not that difficult. If you can use a tape measure, you can pretty much figure this out. So I hope the stills help you out a little bit. When you get this stuff, let me know. And like I say, please treat the center finder with care. It is a precision instrument. It may not look like much, but there was a lot of cussing and blood, sweat, and tears that went into making this thing, so that it didn't, so that it works the way intended. So anyway, if other viewers of the channel pick up on this, I'm not going to list it. It's going to be an unlisted video, and if you happen to stumble across it, and have questions, by all means, participate in the dialogue. There's no restrictions as such. This is, like I say, just kind of a tutorial for a friend of mine that I'm trying to help out. And so if you have any questions or have suggestions how to make something better, by all means, put it in the comment section below. Every little bit sure helps the channel grow. So with that, thanks for stopping by, thanks for watching, and Ryan, I wish you a whole lot of success on getting this thing done.